Okay, so the first one that we're going to jump into is the Lilith archetype. And this is the untamed, unapologetic feminine force. And you can read the slide. I'm not going to read everything word for word. But what I really want you to capture is that this placement to me, when I applied it for myself, I really realized, oh my gosh, all the ways that I was afraid of being too much, too loud, too weird, too outside the box, grasping for straws, making weird conclusions that are just made up in my head. They don't make any sense. When I saw my Lilith placement, I was like, of course, this makes sense for how I feel about religion. Some of like a particular boyfriend I had in my 20s that because my Lilith placement has to do with religion and spirituality, it makes perfect sense for the breakup that I had with this person who he himself, I think, was in an identity crisis of being like a party animal with a certain group of friends. And then, prim and proper with another group of friends at church. And when he broke up with me, he said we were unequally yoked. And there is a parable in the Bible talking about how you have to have two oxen that are equally yoked, that the yoke that goes on their neck has to be equally balanced to pull the plow. And so a lot of people would say you have to be equally yoked in a partnership. And the context of this statement was that because I asked so many questions about the Bible, um, I was not equally yoked in my faith with him, and that's how he broke up with me. So that's just like an example of like how this astrology really shows up in our life. So I'm really excited to share this with you because I'm hoping that you're going to be able to really reclaim yourself in all of your glorious womanhood, and really in reclaiming ourselves and our glorious womanhood really allows us to step into the smoke show hot body, because this is about magnetism. And if there are parts of you that are unclaimed, that you are rejecting, you're not going to be able to change your energy if there are parts of your very own self that you are rejecting. Okay. So this is an overview of the elements. We have two slides for this where you're looking at the fire sign placements and the water sign placements. So this is your slide if you are an Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius in your Lilith placement based on the video that you did earlier, or if you are a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. So I am a Sagittarius placement for my Lilith. My core wound, the core wound of our fire signs being silenced passion, fear of being too much. The disempowered expression is anger, outburst, self-sabotage, and fear of standing out. And the empowered reframe, embodying raw confidence, taking up space, becoming fearlessly magnetic. So I think what is the best thing for me to do is actually just share from personal experience, especially because my profile in human design is a 6-2, which is leading by example. So what I want to share with you about this is that the fear of standing out in terms of the body, I used to smash my breasts down. I used to wear a sports bra that made me look flat chested. I used to not do my hair and my makeup completely going to the gym because I was afraid it was going to be too much. I still don't necessarily wear low cut cleavage things because boobs just really aren't my thing, but butt is. So like if you see me on the internet, half my butt is usually hanging out in my dance classes. And that actually goes into the empowered reframe that I started going to dance classes. February 16th, I believe, was my very first class in general, especially with my favorite dance teacher who I only go to now with Melissa. And that has given me the freedom to take up space and wear sexy clothes and, be in front of an audience, because we take turns being the audience and being the performer and get used to having eyes on us and being congratulated for our body, no matter what condition it's in, no matter how well we do in the performance. And so that's just an example of how I'm living it. And then, of course, being the unapologetic trailblazer, I'm talking about we're doing self-healing through aesthetics, because if we claim what we want, we're going to get hot, but we're also going to have to unpack these ways that we are rejecting and disowning parts of ourself. So be sure, if you're a water sign or a fire sign, this is your slide, and then go look at it in depthly in the Word document because there is more information in there. If you are an earth sign, a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn. If you are an air sign, a Gemini, a Libra, or an Aquarius, take a look here. This is very exciting. If you're a Capricorn, I'll say this. Pluto has left Capricorn, and so you might be feeling a breath of fresh air, and this might be easier for you to access. If you're a Virgo, we're in the south node of Virgo right now. If you're watching this in all of 2025 and most of 2026, and so you may be able to access this inner work even easier. If you're a Gemini or Aquarius, oh my gosh, we have the revolutionary transits in Gemini and Aquarius. And so for you, this actually might be quite painful because these energies are expanding and contracting, and a lot might be coming up for you. And that's okay. You just get to accelerate your inner work. Okay, so the houses in the zodiac allow us to balance the energy, and you're going to see that in another sign. And so when we're looking at where our Lilith placement is, we can really look at how we can embody a new identity for ourselves. My Sagittarius is in the 8th house. So the archetype is the alchemical goddess. And it's like, of course, right? Because I'm doing emotional work, which is in former years and centuries was called alchemy. And so it makes perfect sense that that would be my my archetype for my Sagittarius or for my Lilith placement. Okay, so this is how your Lilith is going to help you become magnetic. Obviously, we're doing shadow work. It's also called inner child work, where we're really identifying your repressed power and integrating it. So when you do the inner child integrations and the meditation, and you're really connecting with these aspects of yourself, you're going to be able to remember the times that you were told too much, be quiet, sit down, you're too fat, you're too skinny, you're too tall, you're too short. All the ways that we have not fit into a societal box, particularly with the patriarchy. And I love me some men. I love men. I want a polarized, strong dynamic with a man with strong leadership, provision. I want to be able to be held. I want to be able to be vulnerable. I want to be supported. I want a rock behind me as I grow myself and I grow my business, since my business has to do with building the next society. So when I mention the patriarchy, I am in no way bashing men. What I am saying, though, is that the system of the patriarchy has disowned and disempowered the feminine, the matriarchy. And we definitely want to have a balance there. And so we're really going to be able to integrate our feminine energy through this work. The sensory embodiment, like I said, I do dance. I really love being sultry with Melissa's classes. Like, so anything that you can do where you can actually feel good in your body, whether you're doing it in a class or whether you're doing it, you know, by yourself, that you're really going to want to be able to do that. Like, really get in touch with your body and what feels good. And it could also be through exercise, yoga, Pilates, lifting weights, anything that feels good. But you do definitely want to tap into how you can feel sensual as a woman and sexual as a woman too. The magnetic confidence, walking, speaking, and showing up as an undeniable presence. We have to do this. You have to embody this version of yourself for your body to change. The fantasy that you have of your dream body giving you the ability to walk and speak and show up with presence, that fantasy is fantastic, but you have to be that now. You have to be that within your inner self now, so that when you do have the body of your dreams, you can own it. Because the worst thing that happens is women will reach their goal, or they reach their goal and they can't sustain it because they are not that person, or they reach the goal and they have not changed their inner landscape, and so the body is actually unfulfilling. And when the body is unfulfilling after we've reached the goal, what's the use of keeping up with the habits that got us there? So then we start to eat unhealthy, or we stop being committed to the workouts that got us into that shape. So you really want to be this person now. So I'd like you to think about what your Lilith is. Like I said, my Lilith is Sagittarius. And so I just pulled from the Word document that you have access to. The untamed wanderer transcends cultural or religious shame, living in full-bodied freedom. The 8th house, the alchemical goddess. True power lies in embracing transformation and depth. The magnetism tip, own your erotic and mysterious energy. I'm like, should I go there? Let's go there. So, embracing transformation and depth. This is something that was the deepness. This is, you're too dramatic. Why do you have to make a big deal out of it? Why can't you just get over it? And I'm not going to get over the patriarchy separating feminine energy from our knowingness of how we are connected and how we are God, how being connected to God, God the Father, God the Mother, symbologically, as well as just the polarized energy of positive and negative charges. Yes, I am furious that this is how humanity has been living for centuries and centuries. So no, I'm not just going to get over it. You know what I mean? And then that goes into my inner child wounding. Why can't you just get over what happened when you were 3? Why can't you just get over what happened with your dad? Why can't you just move on? Because I'm deep. You know, it took me a while to get there, but the depth of my knowledge is going into the fat life. And you have in your hands a complete system of changing your aesthetics and your health and changing your energy, your magnetism, which is going to lead into changing your life and all of humanity, which means the next civilization. So yes, it's deep. Um, Owning your erotic and mysterious energy, I'll go here too. I have gotten feedback from people that like they don't really know what to make of me because in some ways I'm very conservative and reserved, and in other ways, like with my body, I'm like flip, like totally out there. Like most of the guys at the gym, if they look at my Instagram, they've seen me basically naked. You know what I mean? And then at the gym, a lot of times I'm covered up and I'm not wearing short shorts and I'm not wearing just shorts and a sports bra, which I've done. But my point is, it's like, what am I doing? Right? Like, this is very mysterious that there's going to be different aspects of me where I'm really exposed physically because in that context, I'm like, oh, it's just a body. But then I'm going to be more reserved if it's like, am I letting you into my energy? So this really gives us a way to own all the dynamics, all the facets of what we are.